Greetings, folks. Welcome back to the Tractor Fella channel, where we know nothing about tractors. On today's episode, we're going to do a review of the Allturn 100-watt plastic welder. I need to use it because I have a fuel tank I'm going to try to plastically weld. First, let's open the box. Alright, there it is. Instruction manual, how to use it. Comes with a pair of side cutters, a box knife. Well, I don't know what we're going to do with that right now, but that's pretty cool. This appears to be a plastic smearing adapter, where you essentially just... We have plastic strips, I would have to say, to melt into certain cracks. And then we have the actual welding pieces. 0.8 millimeter corner strips, 0.8 millimeter wave staples, 0.6 millimeter outside corner staples, and we have 0.8 millimeter flat staples. As for the unit itself, has a nice weight to it, feels robust. Trigger has a nice snapping motion. It's not floppy and cheap feeling. PWG 100 voltage, AC 110, power 100 watts, 0 to 65 amps output current. So the way these work, for those of you that aren't aware, and the only reason I know this is from other channels, you essentially attach your little welding tip here. You put it inside the contact tips here. Okay, so now we have it's gone. So now we have completed our circuit. Squeeze the trigger, this thing glows red hot, and you sink it into the plastic. And then from what I've read, the best thing to do is release the trigger, allow it to cool for a moment before trying to remove this, or you'll just rip it right back out of the plastic. And then I would have to estimate that this goes like so. Turn it on. Squeeze the trigger, it turns on, this gets hot, and then you can spread and melt your plastic on the surface. Alright, I'm going to go get a piece of junk to practice with. I'll be right back. Victim number one is this lovely plastic chair with pink algae growing on it. Somebody's big ass sat on it and cracked it right there. It's probably mine. So what we're going to do is clean this up, flip her over, and throw some staples into it and see if we can make it nice and solid again. I would have to think carbon choke cleaner should kill this adequately. Oh, it's brand new. Alright, I think our guests will be happy to sit on that. So I'm thinking for this application we're going to use the 0.8 millimeter flat staples. First thing I want to do, I want to make these surfaces level next to each other-ish. Nope. The gun is plugged in. If I squeeze the trigger with nothing attached to it, these surfaces do not get hot. I had to think about that and make sure. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the tip, which I'm using the flat ones because it makes most sense. We're going to do essentially some stitches across the side from one end of the crack to the other. It says to warm them up for about 5 seconds. So let's see what it does now that the circuit is connected. Oh boy, she's hot. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Here we go. It says you're supposed to leave it for 45 seconds. If you're someone like me who doesn't have the most steady hand in the world, that might be kind of tough. Especially if you don't want to melt all the way through the plastic. I'd say we got decent penetration. They said they have a patented break-off design where you can essentially take the end pins, wiggle them back and forth, and break them off. Let's look at the other side. Did I mess it up? Not that anyone cares. No. No, I did not. Let's give you a little better close-up view this time. Nope. Didn't wait long enough, did I? I'll try again in a different spot. So you can see, after applying the staple, you can still see the liquid state of the plastic for probably an additional 20 seconds. So you really do have to hold still and let it cool off. Nope. This might take a little practice. I'm afraid to blow through the plastic. I mean, it's probably thick enough that I really don't have to really worry about that too much. Alright, third time's a charm. Also, it's common sense to do this in a ventilated area, because breathing in melted plastic fumes probably isn't the best thing for your windpipe. Okay. After you get the staple to the depth that you want and you release the trigger for about 5 seconds, it seems like you can apply more downward pressure if you need to sort of relax and not wiggle so much. That, or maybe I just need a beer. I'm getting better at this. There we go. Going right in the corner. Let's do one more for good measure. I'm going to use a corner staple, and the way these work is you apply them like this to the corner of an object. So since this is cracked here, you might as well take advantage. That was tough. Good news is you can continue to heat it up if you don't get the depth that you want. That's pretty sweet. Now what it says to do is to take your smoothing tip, smoothing the plastic over top of it. Ouch. I'll be holding the gun in a very awkward position. This also gives me the freedom to have a much flatter contact pattern. Let's see how it goes. It says to heat it up for 15 seconds. Yep, starting to smoke. Getting our purple color. Oh, look at that spread. That's cool. All right, let's see how this goes. This staple was pretty shallow, so I don't think we're going to get much coverage. I think all my staples were pretty shallow. But you can see I'm melting the surface and sort of filling in the void created by the staple. That is cool. That is very cool. Stop wiggling. Nice. Now, with the plastic that gets on the tip, I'm not entirely sure what you do with that. I don't think you can just wipe it off. You might be able to take some light sandpaper and clean up the surface that way. So now the side cutters were included with the package if you want to clip them off, but people don't like that a lot because it leaves a sharp point. So let's see if we can just bend it back and forth using, oh, that staple's loose. And that is because it was not very deep. Let's try it on this one. Is it better to break or better to cut? Well, you can see I'm moving the entire staple, and it is not willingly breaking off. So that took a lot of effort, and it is below the surface, yes. When I clip this, one, it goes flying somewhere in the room, and two, you get this nasty point. Plus, I mean, I'm moving the whole staple, so I feel like I'm just weakening the integrity of the weld. I'll leave that up to the user to decide. The ultimate test is when I put my big butt on this thing. Alright, so I put a blue towel down since the seat is gross and I need to wash it. This crack is right where the crack is. So we're going to do two tests. First, I'm going to sit on it gently and we're going to listen for popping and cracking and then check the integrity of the welds. And then second, I'm going to sit on it like any normal person would sit on it by completely flopping. Okay, here we go. Comfortable. These are comfortable chairs, I will say that. Inspection. How'd we do? I do see some cracking there. This one cracked, and it looks like my crack came back. That one's held together. This may have to do with my own ability to weld plastic. Let's get this back to where I want it. Seems like quite a bit of practice will help you in the long run. I guess the other good thing is if you don't break off all the tips, like I did already, you could potentially resink the staple into the material. Yeah, that one feels way more solid. All right, well, let's fix this guy up here. Yeah, I got those much farther in there, so much so to the point that the opening wound actually closed up. I'm going to try to use these wave staples. A little more curvature to them. That might be something good too. Got my curly staple installed. You could probably do it this way along the crack, but I think it would have more integrity like this. Cool. Kind of thought I might have blown that last one through, and indeed I did. Oh, there's another little one there. What a lovely day. I think I'll have a seat. Oh boy. That didn't sound too good. Oh man, I've had a long day. You know what, folks? That sounded bad, but those staples are still in there. Oh, that's what cracked. Kind of figured that might happen. However, keep in mind that staple is still in there, and it's still sort of holding this together. I'm impressed, and I'm happy. All right, folks, that's all she wrote. No, I'm not sponsored by Allturn. The gun did get a little warm on the exterior, but that's to be expected. We're conducting electricity as a dead short, so generally that makes heat. I like all the organization, everything fits nicely. Cable goes right back in here. If you want to see more plastic welding, tune into the next episode, or what I hope will be the next episode, where I'm going to try to seal up all the cracks in this junky gas tank after I empty the gas. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, if you find yourself super bored and super desperate to watch something on YouTube, swing on by. We'll have more adventures. See you then.